Hi everyone, this is Hana. Right now, we lie on comfortable couch. We watch Dystopia on TV or smartphone. The word inside the screen is stimulating. We believe it is just a well-made fiction. But today, looking at what is happening in Minneapolis across the Pacific, I can tell you one thing clearly. The reality Americans are facing now is just a trailer. Fascism in America started a long time ago. Do you know the movie Civil War by Alex Garland? There is a chilling line in that film. In a divided America, a militia soldier points a gun at a civilian and asks, "What kind of American are you?" I shuddered when I watched the scene. Because a few years ago, I experienced that terror in real life. I was isolated in Mexico during the pandemic because all the flights were canceled. Every time Donald Trump shouted China virus on TV, hate crimes against Asians spiked worldwide. I had to endure hostile stares on the street. Their eyes were asking me, "Are you on our side or are you the enemy spreading the virus?" That question was like a gun pointed at my daily life. Back then, t-shirts saying "I'm not Chinese, I'm Korean" were sold on Amazon. But I stopped and thought, if I'm not Chinese, am I safe? Does that mean it's okay to attack Chinese people? Hate was breeding more hate. Instead of solidarity, we chose cowardly survivor. And last winter on the streets of Seoul, I faced the same question. Far-right fascists in Korea blocked the streets. They asked the citizens, whose side are you on? Do you think martial law is rebellion? They tested our thoughts. They divided us into enemies and allies. In an instant, South Korea was pushed into the center of a civil war. As you know, we have been divided into South and North for decades. Look at the drama The Handmaid's Tale. Look at the Republic of Gilead. Patriarchal control, oppression of women, collapse of the rule of law, totalitarianism hiding behind religion. This is not just a story in a drama. This is the reality Korea survived last year. And this is the reality America is facing right now. Have you seen the series Pluribus? In that show, people lose their ego and become a hive mind. They are happy without conflict, but the price is their freedom and the right to question. When the main character, Carol, screams, "This is fake peace," we cheer for her. But look around you. Corrupt media and politicians want to make their word real. They use algorithm and fake news to unify your eyes and ears. Don't question. Don't get angry. Just believe what we show you. Last winter, the Korean dictatorship tried exactly this. Forced unity. They labeled citizens who opposed the president as abnormal. They wanted the whole nation to be infected by the dictator's logic. But just as Carol resisted the virus, Koreans came out to the streets. We refused thoughtless peace. We willingly got angry, we made a noise. And in the end, we were not assimilated. Hollywood stars always shout for freedom and justice in movies. They wear superhero suit and save the world. But where are they in reality? Recently, the movie One Battle After Another won Best Picture at the Golden Globes. I expected the director PTA or the actors to say something about the inhumane actions of ICE or the crisis of democracy. But they lifted their trophies and remained elegantly silent. Oh, except Mark Ruffalo and 2 or 3 other actors. That silence was consent. Believe or not, Korea went through all this dystopia last year, and we won. This video is a record of that victory. And this is a survivor manual I'm sending to all over the world, standing on the edge of a cliff. Every collapse has warning signs, but people ignore them with optimism. Surely it won't happen. Why did the President Yoon Suk-yeol declare emergency martial law? Was it his political belief? No, it was a very primal emotion fear. At that time, the Yoon administration was already brain dead. His approval rating crushed to 10%. Even his core supporters turned their backs. Then a huge scandal exploded. The Myeongtaegun Gate. Voice recordings revealed he meddled in elections illegally. Impeachment was no longer just a slogan, it was a countdown. To make matters worse, his wife's stock manipulation and corruption were revealed. He faced legal risks. Just like a Trump clinging to power to avoid prison, Yoon held the entire country hostage for his own safety. The fear of going to jail makes a dictator most dangerous. To break through this crisis, he used a classic fascist tactic divide and conquer. He branded citizens and the opposition party as anti state forces, pro China communists, and pro North leftists. This despicable labeling didn't stop at words. The opposition leader Lee Jae-myung was stabbed in the neck by a man disguised as a supporter. He almost died in broad daylight. A society where the opposition leader is almost killed, that was already the start of a civil war. Yet, Yoon did not stop. He gambled on a suicidal move called martial law. We ignored the warning. In August 2024, Kim Min-seok, a top politician, warned publicly the government is preparing for martial law. But Korean media and intellectuals laughed at him. Martial law in 21st century in South Korea? You are a conspiracy theorist. They treated him like a boy who cried oof. But that night, the public realized painfully, optimism kills people. The truth revealed later was even more shocking. The Yoon regime sent drones to North Korea to provoke a war, just to create an excuse for martial law. They were willing to send their own people to a battlefield to keep power. Remember this, a red corner does not bite the cat. It sets the house on fire. December 3rd, 2024, 10:28 p.m. The President Yoon declared emergency martial law on live TV. Most citizens were getting ready for bed. I was watching the movie on Netflix, something. Soon, breaking news flashed on YouTube. Tanks are moving. Paratroopers are deployed. Helicopters coming. It felt unreal. It was cognitive dissonance. But we moved by instinct, not reason, because we had learned memory. Koreans had recently watched the movie 12/12 a Day. We saw how military rebels stole the country in 1979. We read Han's book Human Acts about the 1980 Gwangju massacre because she won the Nobel Literature Prize. We knew it in our bones. If military boots trample the Constitution, innocent blood will flow. Yoon made a fatal mistake. He touched the biggest trauma of the Korean people. People thought it's martial law. If we don't stop it now, we die like in Gwangju. That fear drove people to the streets. The system was paralyzed. Media was about to be censored. Police blocked the National Assembly, but people moved. Opposition leader Lee Jae-myung turned on a live stream on YouTube. This is a coup. Yoon is no longer president. Citizens come to the National Assembly. That location, the National Assembly, became a lighthouse in the chaos. Social media became our digital signifier. The most dramatic scenes happened in front of the National Assembly. Citizens ran out in pajamas and slippers. They blocked the armored vehicle with their bare bodies. As the world's only divided nation in a state of armistice, South Korea requires all men to serve in the military. One middle-aged woman screamed at a soldier holding a gun. My son is a soldier too. You are also someone's son. Please move aside. Don't shoot us. It wasn't protest. It was a war of people hiding their wills. Inside the building, aides piled up desks and used fire extinguishers to stop special forces. Citizens become human ladders for lawmakers climbing over walls. Despite the ruling party's sabotage and fake text messages, 190 members of lawmakers gathered. December 4th, 1 a.m., the vote to lift martial law passed, 190 to 0. It was a historic score. Citizens defeated the army. But the fight wasn't over. People didn't go home. They feared a second martial law. More citizens gathered and formed a human chain around the National Assembly. That night marked the beginning of a 6-month-long battle. Lifting martial law was just the start. The first impeachment vote failed because of the ruling party. It was despairing. But Korean citizens didn't give up. A week later, even more people felt scared to protest. Farmers drove tractors from the countryside to Seoul for 2 days. Police blocked them with a buswar at a mountain pass called Namtaeryong, but citizens ran over. They gave food and hot packs to the farmers. They broke through the police line together. We call it the Great Battle of Namtaeryong. Seeing this burning solidarity, the National Assembly felt the pressure. A week later, the second impeachment vote passed. January 2025, it was freezing cold. Citizens demanded the arrest of Yoon. To survive the cold, they wrapped themselves in silver emergency space blankets. They looked like a silver chocolate, so we called them the Kisses Unit. Thanks to this persistent silver seas, Yoon became the first incumbent president to be arrested for rebellion on January 19th. But the madness didn't stop there. Just as the MAGA mob stormed the US Capitol, Korean far-right Protestant groups stormed the Seoul Western District Court. They threatened the judge, who issued the arrest warrant, and caused a violent riot. And the legal technicians fought back. In March, a judge named Ji Gi-yeon released Yoon. He used a bizarre sophistry that haven't been used in 71 years in Korean modern history. Detention period must be calculated by hours, not days, so time is up. Yoon, you can go out now. It was absurd logic. Watching the dictator work out of jail, we saw how dirty the law can be when it serves power. But that betrayal only made us stronger. Angry citizens turned to the Constitutional Court. Finally, in April 2025, the judges unanimously ruled to fire Yoon. He was now a natural person. Only July 10th, he was rearrested. During this fierce winter, we shared unforgettable memories. It was a wave of K-tribute. Food trucks, free coffees, heating buses. Heating buses are brilliant. Citizens voluntarily paid for and sent heated buses to the protest site, where protesters warmed themselves, charged their smartphones, used Wi-Fi, and took a nap. Even celebrities paid for meals for protesters. In an era that forced the survivor of the fittest, Koreans showed the hottest solidarity and love. And finally, in January 2026, prosecutors demanded the death penalty for Yoon, the ringleader of the rebellion. Now we are waiting for the final sentence in February. Justice was delayed, but we proved it eventually arrives. So, how did we win? The secret lies in a shift in Korean emotion. From Han, deep sorrow, to Heung, joy and energy. Let me explain this to my friends. Older Koreans lived through war and dictatorship. They carry Han, a deep resentment and sadness. Past protesters were sad and desperate because they were fueled by this Han. But the young generation, the MG generation, is different. They grew up in a wealthy democracy. They have Heung. They find joy and energy in any situation. Harvard professor Erica Chenoweth found the 3.5% rule. If 3.5% of the population protest peacefully, the regime falls. In Korea, that's about 1.8 million people. Last winter, we had over 3 million people on the streets. We smashed that magic number. But the key word is peaceful. This wasn't just about nonviolence. It was high-level strategy to give the dictator no excuse to attack. The MG generation turned the protest into a festival in Korea. They shouted, "Democracy is originally ours. Why should the owner be scared of the thief?" Instead of sad labor songs, K-pop blasted in the square. People danced and sang. The Kisses unit wore silver blankets and joked with each other. I came out because it looks fun. Protest became a culture, a giant playground. If we had used the Molotov cocktails, the army would have shot us. But this Heung disarmed everyone. And finally, when families came out holding their children's hands, the game was over. Citizens picking up trash after the rally. This was a massive moral war that the police couldn't touch. Violence brings fear, but joy brings solidarity. The thing the dictator feared most was not an angry mob, but citizens who fight while smiling. Of course, older people criticize the youth. They are too individualistic, they are too weak. But one younger held a sign that touched everyone's heart. "Mom, Dad, you protected democracy before, and now I will protect it." Their rudeness was actually courage. It was a declaration to protect the legacy their parents left. We learned that if we unite, we can solve anything. Now, South Korea has become a country where every living generation has experienced fighting martial law. Foreign media often mock Korea's low birth rate. Korea will disappear soon. But they don't know anything about real Korea at all. Korean society has a powerful trust capital that activates in crisis. The memory of victory we shared, risking our lives, nothing can beat that. It is truly an amazing country. So here is my manual for you. Don't trust the system. Don't wait for judges, politicians, or heroes. They will stay silent or betray you at the critical moment. Instead, trust the ordinary citizen standing next to you. Go out to the square and don't be scared. Even if hate, division, and fake news cover your eyes and ears, what saves democracy in the end is your courage. The courage to block a tank with your bare body. Korea did it. So, you can do it too. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any thoughts about democracy or survivor, let me know in the comments down below. Welcome to Hana's Island. You are safe here now. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye.